Dr. Schmidt. Here's another little snippet on to continue what we just finished on is we discussed a little bit about sleep and the importance of it. Now we're going to actually start talking about some actionable things that you can start applying today and try to get really consistent with it so that you can have overall greater wellness, health, vitality, and stuff like that. The number one factor when it comes to sleep is light exposure. Light exposure. So the way I like to look at it is if we look back in the day, how our genetics have been evolving for thousands upon thousands of years, and not until recently have we gotten the ability to have bright artificial lights stimulating our eyes and our retina when it's dark outside, right? So we have TVs, computers, we have phones now, and all of that is a very bright light to our retina. So the light exposure to our retina, it goes back into the brain, a hypothalamus, pituitary, starts stimulating different neurochemicals and stuff like that to produce things to wake us up, right? So think about it like this. Back in the day when we didn't have all this artificial light, whenever our eyes were exposed to bright light, bright direct sunlight, more straight as it's the sun's rising, that registered to the brain to start releasing all these neurochemicals and hormones to wake us up, right? So, and then in the evening, whenever it got dark outside, now we're having the lack of bright light is causing the brain to release certain other chemicals like melatonin to help us fall asleep, get groggy, and go to sleep, okay? So picture this, if in the evening hours we're being exposed to bright lights, now the brain is literally getting tricked. Because remember, our brain is only the receptor of our world. So if we're getting exposed to bright lights, such as lights on in the house, computer lights, phone lights, all that stuff is going to cause a problem because it's tricking the brain that we are waking up. So your brain's going to release more cortisol. It's going to release more adrenaline, even though it's time to decrease the amount of that to get better sleep. So when we're looking at light exposure, it's twofold. You need to have direct bright sunlight exposure in the morning to improve your sleep, but then also in the evening you have to have lack of light exposure in general in order for your brain to register that it's time to go to bed. So like an hour before bed, we like to turn off all the lights, maybe read a book in very dim light, or even just listen to a podcast is even better, or listen to something. So anything that you can do to avoid the light stimulus to your eyes, or even wearing a sleep mask when it gets dark, because some of us are near traffic, so there's headlights, there's dusk to dawn lights. So anything you can do effort-wise to decrease the amount of light that you're being exposed to in the evening hours, especially like an hour before you go to bed, will start improving your sleep. The deep non-REM sleep that we all want to have, so we wake up feeling full and rested, right? So quick recap, you need bright light exposure in the morning hours and you need no light exposure in the evening hours to improve your sleep. Everybody poo-poos on blue light exposure and stuff like that, but if you have that blue light exposure in the morning hours, you could actually improve your sleep rather than have it in the evening hours, because blue light exposure is shown to improve attention, cognitive thinking, and stuff like that with scores. So you want to have the light exposure in the morning hours because we're designed to wake up, release our wake up hormones and neurotransmitters, and then in the evening we're designed to have lack of light so that we can actually start producing more melatonin to help us sleep. If you can get into a rhythm of that, step one's complete, your sleep's going to start improving. Thanks.